In a time when technology is king, countries all over the world are competing to obtain the most advanced weapons systems out there. But currently, the US is leading the charge with cutting-edge technologies like next-generation aircraft carriers and precision-guided missiles. So, let's take a look at what they have to offer. Number 1. ADS. Say hello to the Active Denial System, or ADS. Even though its name makes it sound innocent, this scary weapon could do unimaginable, horrible things if it is used wrongly. It's strange that it doesn't use normal weapons, but instead uses the dark arts of focused energy, which makes the atmosphere scary. The ADS is attached to cars. Its scary names, Heat Ray and Pain Ray, make it sound like something from a bad science fiction movie. Millimeter waves of its unseen wrath engulf innocent spirits, burning their skin with growing pain that shows what the fires inside are like. This never-ending fear has spread through the air on planes and gunships, making it perfect for keeping people in line. Number 2. Laser Avenger. The Laser Avenger can fire surface-to-air missiles and is an absolute force on the battlefield. Its amazing infrared targeting technology never stops looking for its prey, no matter what the weather is like. Boeing's experiments with laser weapons in 2008 led to changes in the Avenger that included the addition of deadly Stinger missiles. It is a horrible thing that mixes the Avenger's kinetic weapons with lasers that focus energy. During scary tests in 2009, this hideous animal tracked and killed UAVs with pinpoint accuracy. This showed that the military was using real laser guns in illegal ways. It's hard to tell the difference between science fiction and reality when it comes to these cutting-edge weapons. Number 3. M3E1. The M3E1, the most current version of the Carl Gustaf anti-armor system, is said to haunt battlefields. This weapon, which looks like a rocket launcher, is actually a recoilless gun that can do unimaginable damage. The only job that 84mm bullets can do is break through tanks' bulletproof skin. Even though one soldier can use it, it is common to have a second partner close to help reload and get more ammo. Two scary new features in the 2017 version are a more advanced aiming system and ammo that can be changed to fit your needs. Enemies are scared of it because it is small, light, and well-designed. Number 4. AGM-88G AARGM-ER. As the world is always changing and opponents are always evolving, Lockheed Martin has made the AGM-88 high-speed anti-radiation missile better so that the Italian Air Force and the US Navy can use it. It is ready to face new challenges head-on and is meant to give the US Navy and the ITAF a better anti-radiation missile. The US Navy and the Israeli Air Force worked together to make the AGM-88G AARGM-ER. It was first shown off in 2018 and is now getting close to being ready for use. It is expected to change anti-radiation rocket technology by making weapons more accurate and effective as its features become available. Number 5. Maritime Strike Tomahawk. The next thing we'll look at is the Maritime Strike Tomahawk, or MST, a long-range subsonic cruise missile made by Raytheon Technologies Corporation. The updated Tomahawk Land Attack Missile, or TLAM, called Tomahawk Block 5A, will be released in 2021 with a new job: to hit moving targets at sea with more accuracy and flexibility than ever before. With its imaging infrared tracker, the MST can find and follow ships in the air very accurately. It gets more accurate as it takes pre-programmed routes to its destination thanks to a new navigation system. The larger warhead makes the missile even more powerful in maritime battle by making it better able to penetrate armored ships. Number 6. B-21 Raider. The B-21 Raider is a turning point in aviation history. It is the first plane of its sixth generation and the most powerful stealth bomber of the 21st century. It is said to be the fourth stealth plane that the US has ever made. The B-21, which was made by Northrop Grumman, is a stunning piece of art that can do many things, such as precise strikes around the world, war management, reconnaissance and monitoring, and more. Its stealth, large payload capacity, and long-range attack capabilities allow it to accurately deliver America's most powerful weapons to the most important targets. Northrop Grumman has more than 30 years of practice with low observable technology, which it got from the B-2 Spirit and used in the B-21's precise, stealth-based design. It was made to be stealthy from the start, so it has jagged edges and fiber matte skin that hides the engine cases. The distributed aperture system, electronic warfare suite, and powerful electro-optic sensor radar for the Raider are all built into a single piece of electronic gear. It has an arsenal that can get through the world's best defenses and can launch conventional and nuclear warheads that weigh up to 30,000 pounds. The U.S. Air Force plans to buy 100 to 145 B-21 Raiders, which will replace the B-1 Lancer and B-2 Spirit. Each plane will cost around $630 million. The first of these planes is set to arrive in the 2040s. Number 7. NGAD. NGAD is the 6th generation program of the U.S. Air Force. Its job is to keep the U.S. in control of the air in the toughest combat environments. A group of tools such as cameras, weapons, and unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, are placed around a 6th generation fighter plane. The NGAD fighter is the ideal aircraft for air control because it is very quiet, has advanced sensors, and powerful weapons. Its stealthiness is shown by its unique triangle shape, internal payload housing, and lack of typical tail parts. For better contact, the next generation NGAD fighter has cutting-edge sensors, and instead of radars, it has smart skins that are electronically designed. The NGAD fighter has a lot of high-tech American weapons, such as guns, bombs, rockets, and laser-directed energy weapons. For every NGAD fighter, there will be 2 dedicated wingman drones by their side to keep human warriors safe until it's absolutely necessary. The United States Air Force will be able to keep its air power for a long time because of NGAD. Number 8. Gerald R. Ford Class. This is the Gerald R. Ford class, the most up-to-date aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy. It welcomes you to the world of naval dominance. Each ship in this class is very impressive because it can carry 100,000 tons and costs an unbelievable $13 billion. There are 10 planned carriers, but only the USS Gerald R. Ford is a super carrier. The other 7 are either being planned or are already being built. The USS Gerald Ford is an engineering wonder. It can go anywhere in the world at a top speed of about 30 knots and can stay at sea for over 100 days, which is longer than any other ship. What's really amazing is that it can carry up to 75 fighter jets and unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, including the highly regarded 5th generation F-35 Lightning II. The USS Ford has cutting-edge technology ready for the upcoming 6th generation fighters. This shows that the ship is prepared for air battle in a forward-thinking way. One of these is the electromagnetic launch system, which is the most effective way to get planes into the air. The stopping gear system is another one. It lets planes land safely in bad weather. Number 9. Columbia-class subs. These massive nuclear-powered ships are the pinnacle of the U.S. Navy's naval engineering achievements. They were designed to replace the Ohio-class SSBNs, which were becoming obsolete. They move with the power of nuclear engines that can go an incredible 40 years without recharging. They can carry up to 21,000 tons and achieve top speeds of 20 knots. For the foreseeable future, these submarines will be the primary component of the United States sea-based strategic nuclear defense triad. They have an improved Virginia-class sonar system, as well as Trident II D5LE ballistic missiles capable of being fired from submarines. The Navy intends to buy 1 submarine per year from 2021 to 2035, and they are not holding back. Each ship costs around $9 billion, and the entire operation totals $110 billion. Number 10. Prism. Lockheed Martin's powerful Precision Strike Missile, or PrSM, is a more advanced form of the Army Tactical Missile System, or ATA-CMS, that has been in use for over 20 years. Its predecessor didn't have a longer range or a more advanced guiding system. When shot from the Army's M270A2 launcher, the PrSM is the most powerful weapon available. It can hit targets hundreds of miles away with pinpoint accuracy. Notably, it makes sure that international agreements are followed by conforming to the INF Treaty, which is the newest agreement that limits intermediate-range weapons. The PrSM's prototype research and production were given to Lockheed Martin in 2019. When the missile passes its test flight in 2020, the U.S. Army will have access to cutting-edge precision strike powers for the first time.
Unknowingly to most people, Russia and China have been attacking U.S. satellites every single day. Both countries have also tested hypersonic weapons that enable them to wreak havoc on the United States. Now, it's the U.S.'s turn to make a move in this intercontinental chess game. And they've just made one that could almost qualify them as a grandmaster. One that involves watching over the entire world from space, every second of every day. Because as recent news shows, these threats are as real as ever. Russian defense officials have revealed that the country fired its Kinzhal air-to-ground hypersonic missile into Ukraine in an attack on March 18, 2022. This marks the first time this missile, which travels at 5 times the speed of sound, has been used in combat. And Ukraine, with no defenses against hypersonic weapons, was defenseless against the Kinzhal, causing many to consider this an overkill. China's entry into this threatening stance comes in the form of a larger hypersonic missile than the Kinzhal, and is 5 times faster too. It's known as the Fractional Orbital Bombardment System. China's FOBS is a nuclear-capable missile that jets into low Earth orbit and then deorbits at the right time to kamikaze into a target anywhere on Earth, like an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, but with the added plus of higher range and insanely greater speeds. Once launched, a FOBS takes off to low Earth orbit, circling the planet for as long as necessary till its target is in sight. Once the target is spotted, the hypersonic missile deorbits, clocking its Mach 27 top speed. The FOBS can be pictured as a space shuttle that's fitted with a nuclear warhead as its payload, rather than a capsule full of astronauts. With an operational range spanning across the entire Earth, the FOBS can attack the US from whatever direction, arriving at least 10 minutes quicker than an ICBM would. The FOBS also comes with a scary level of agility and intelligence. They're able to maneuver away from defense systems en route to a target, making them even more difficult to track and shoot down. This high speed, agility, and intelligence combo combines to deliver a level of unpredictability that attempts to limit the US to only a few minutes of reaction time from when they spot the missile to when it makes a dent on US soil. And this would be the case if the US was stuck with its older defense systems. But it's not. The US has been proactive and reactive to the growing foreign capabilities, responding with a new and advanced development system that's sci-fi enough to feature in a Marvel movie. Billions of dollars, hundreds of satellites, and a team of world-renowned companies. The US is responding with a fleet of satellites that will be sent to orbit to track hypersonic weapons. In the latest milestone of this undertaking, the U.S. Space Defense Agency, or SDA, announced recently that it was awarding $1.3 billion in contracts to send 28 small satellites into space. Scheduled for launch in 3 years, these satellites are designed to provide the initial missile warning and missile tracking capabilities of the future National Defense Space Architecture. The National Defense Space Architecture consists of multiple components, including 2 layers of space-based platforms: the transport layer and the tracking layer. The transport layer is a communication layer that will provide assured, resilient, low-latency military data and connectivity worldwide to all kinds of warfighter platforms. Planned as a constellation varying in size from 300 to more than 500 satellites in low Earth orbit, once completed, 95% of Earth will have at least 2 satellites in view at any given time, while 99% of the planet will have at least 1 satellite in view at any given time. Next is the tracking layer, which will provide global indications, warning, tracking, and targeting of advanced missile threats, including hypersonic missile systems via space-based sensing, algorithms, novel processing schemes, data fusion across sensors, and tactical data products that are available on demand. The SDA's recent $1.3 billion is to fund the Tranche 1 satellites of the tracking layer, $700 million of which was awarded to L3 Harris Technologies, while $617 million was awarded to Northrop Grumman Strategic Space Systems. Each company would deliver 14 of the combined 28 prototype satellites expected to be launched in the first batch from the SDA's Operations and Integration Centers and the Army's Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. It would take 4 different launches of 7 apiece, beginning in April 2025, to transport all 28 satellites to space. The reason for this being that each satellite will be placed in a polar orbit. That is, the satellites will be in 4 different dimensional planes to effectively traverse the globe from north to south, enabling a true omnipresent eye in the sky that, according to SDA Director Derek Tournier, successfully provides early missile warning and missile tracking capabilities for advanced missile threats. These capabilities being so close to fruition is a testament to how quickly the U.S. has made a course correction on its space-based missile defense and warning strategy. It was only 4 years ago when now-retired General John Hyten, the head honcho at U.S. Strategic Command at the time, was highlighting the importance of modernizing the Pentagon's space-based sensing capability to deal with emerging threats. And Congress couldn't agree more, as they provided the SDA $550 million in additional funding in the fiscal year 2022 to accelerate the deployment of the all-too-critical tracking layer component. At this point, every department is on board with the National Defense Space Architecture development and its approach to adapting to new threats by creating a constellation of hundreds of small satellites that will make it harder to blind U.S. military satellites in space by distributing the service's capabilities instead of concentrating it on just a few space-based assets, as it is now. This is a particularly essential move, not only to counter China's FOBS missiles, but to neutralize the impact of Russia successfully compromising U.S. satellites. As space continues to be a vital domain for military activities, anti-satellite technologies are on the rise. Recent Google Earth images revealed the construction of what appears to be a sophisticated laser system at a Russian space facility, a system that could blind satellites in space. The construction is taking place at the Russian Ministry of Defense's Krona space facility, home of the massive, highly successful Ratan 600 radio telescope, which says some on the quality to expect of the anti-satellite weapon being developed. The existence of this weapon was brought to light in an in-depth, open-source investigation that analyzed a library load of public satellite imagery, solicitation documents from Russian industrial contractors, and Russian financial documents. These analyses revealed the development of a project named Kalina, which was described in the financial documentation obtained by the Space Review as a laser system designed for electro-optical warfare that can permanently blind adversarial satellites by shining laser pulses so bright they can damage optical sensors. This is in contrast to dazzlers, which are lasers aimed at only temporarily blinding optic systems. The Russian Kalina would have a separate tracking system with adaptive optics to help it better mitigate atmospheric disturbance. Along with this system, the laser itself features a transmit-receive system to measure laser light reflected back at it from its target, in order to better aim directly at the optical systems on its targets, which are the bullseye spots that, once destroyed, would leave a target satellite blind. On the topic of potentially being a pain to American satellites, China is also in the conversation. A 2022 paper published in the Chinese journal Modern Defense Technology by researchers at the Beijing Institute of Tracking and Telecommunications Technology called for the development of a combination of soft and hard kill methods to take out SpaceX's Starlink satellites and to destroy the constellation's overall operating system. According to the paper, Starlink is a valuable military resource that can provide more stable and reliable communication capabilities for the combat units deployed by the U.S. military around the world. It could also provide high-definition pictures and even live video for U.S. forces. With that in mind, it's possible that Russia, with the Kalina, has solved the soft kill method of taking out satellites, enabling them to take out satellites without creating risks of space debris for their own satellites. It's no longer news. The shadow war in space has begun, with the 3 main players, Russia, China, and the United States, arming up with the most advanced technologies their countries have to offer. Everything from electro-optic warfare to missiles that shoot into orbit is now involved, ushering in the need for a new class of American defense systems, one that revolves around a blanket of satellites watching over the world at all times